been a while, boys, and whoever. Essentially, this is all I really got to say. Sorry it's been so long. I think what I understand is that this channel, which what I wanted from it was for me to, I wanted was this channel for it to force me to be vulnerable, to show up for myself, to remove the mask, essentially, which I think that sometimes I do. But the periods where I'm gone for a long time is because I'm experiencing the other end of the mental health, where I think Jamil told me once, like, I come off on this channel as very like wise, or like a person that's on his way to healing, or and then you go into the Melee Discord and I'm saying the most diabolical like shit ever. And then you could extrapolate that further, which is like, there's times where I post videos that are like kind of dark, where I'm like being upset or whatever, and I'm being slightly depressed. But when I'm really going through it, I'm not posting that. And I have almost posted them like 2 or 3 times, and I've deleted it before it was posted, because I didn't want to spread that energy. But at the same time, it's like, if that's all I'm going through, then I'm not going to post at all. But I want to post. I relapsed, and I can post these things about conviction and being convicted in this relationship with God, but there's a whole nother part of me that hates all of that doesn't want anything, that doesn't want to be better. There's a part of me that like thinks it's all a performance. I'm trying to be virtuous. I'm trying to be like, I don't know, it's all inauthentic, which is also just being depressed, right? But so over the weekend, last weekend, my parents came, right? This is really what really sprung it on. And it's not because of my parents, but kind of. But so my parents came this weekend, or last weekend, and we were at dinner the first night. Oh, my fucking arm hurts. We were at dinner the first night, and I don't know, we're talking about everything and anything. And then we get to me, and I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I know I've been doing what I've been doing." She's like, "I know." And she always knows when I'm doing it, or when I'm depressed, because I'll stop really talking to her, or when I do talk to her on the phone, it's like, let me get off the phone as quickly as possible. And I told her, I said, "Mom," I was like, what I think you and Dad don't understand is that this is not really a choice. Like, this is some generational shit. This is generational. This is in my DNA. It's far more complex than a decision that I'm making. It's ingrained in me, right? And it's very hard for me to, like, I don't know. And she just kept being like, "No, it's not. Like, that's not even true." And I don't know what that was. And even Julianne was kind of like, "Yeah, this is not really, And Julianne has her fair share of battles too. And so I was just like, okay. And then on Sunday, when my parents left last weekend, I started watching Mr.Robot. And for those of you who know, so like before episode 7, when there's a whole like plot twist, the main character, you see him crying alone a lot in his room. He talks about the melancholy. He talks about being alone a lot. He talks about his dissatisfaction with the world, his disgust with the world at the moment. And you can see that, and I related a lot to Elliot, and you see that he takes a certain dosage of morphine, a very specific dosage of morphine and Suboxone, so that he can handle the withdrawals. Like, he's very calculated, he's very smart, but he also has this thing to escape the pain. And you just see that. And you also see that he's also on other medications, and he's in therapy. But while he's in therapy, he is still he's doing a character. Like, he's not telling his therapist. So you just see like Elliot as this, he's on medication for some reason, he's in therapy for some reason. You just assume it's because of clinical depression, anxiety. You find out later it's not, but I just really related to that character, you know what I mean? And I watched the first 4 episodes, and it's like, there's characters that I relate to a lot. And it's like him, Thomas Shelby, and Arthur Shelby, because I find them to be like kind of, one whole person. And then BoJack Horseman. It's like, man, if I relate to all the pieces of shit and like these really traumatized characters, like, what does that say about me? You know what I mean? And so I watch this, and then I get really fucking depressed, and I'm like, fuck it, like, whatever. And so the first thing I'm like, okay, let me just email my therapist. I just need to email her. Because once again, during that dinner, my parents were asking me to go back to therapy. So I emailed her this really long email, just fucking because in my head I was like, okay, if I were to say this to anyone, she's probably the only person that I could say this to without police coming to my house, right? Like, I was saying really, really fucked up shit, right? And then afterwards, I engaged with my addiction right after I sent the email. So I met with her on Thursday, right? I didn't really have much to say. And then, you know, at first, and then obviously, I start talking. And I told her what's up. I was like, I don't know. I think what triggered me this time was just like my parents' this idea that there's a choice to be made. I think there's a choice, and there's the only choice being made is the choice of asking for help. But at a certain point, when you've been dealing with this cycle, like I was diagnosed with this shit when I was 16. So for 10 years, I've been dealing with this cycle and this feeling, or lack of. And at a certain point, you just like stop asking for help because you're just like, well, I'm just going to disappoint them. I'm going to disappoint everyone in my life. If I let them close enough, they will be disappointed because they're going to ask of me to be a certain person and to be healed and to be, you know, not traumatized and to not fall back to these bad behaviors. But I can't, but I will. Like, and so at a certain point, yeah, you can start asking for help, but at a certain point, you just learn that you don't want to disappoint anyone anymore because you disappoint yourself the most. And it's like, I don't want to be disappointing nobody else. And so anyway, so I'm talking to her and I'm like, yeah, what my parents said really upset me about it being a choice. Cause I'm like, man, I know there's a ton of men in the manosphere that say shit like that, but yeah, I believe, yeah, the overdiagnosis of things, and there's definitely people that are like, I don't know, calling depression, like just equating sadness to depression. No, I'm talking about profound melancholy that, like, this is what I was telling her. I told her that, yes, I understand my privilege, but at times I look at homeless people, or unhoused population, and I sometimes envy them, which obviously is fucked up to say, but it's more so I don't really envy them. I envy that level of freedom they have, where like you have no more ties. You're estranged from your family most of the time, or you have no family. That's why you're homeless, or you've done what I've been doing. Where I am now, you've ran the cycle so many times that it left you at that, where you just keep realizing that you're going to disappoint everyone, so you just cut everybody off and you're fully free. And I told her, I said, there's nothing that brings me more comfort than that feeling, being like, if I had nobody, no friends, no family, no Julianne, I had no more ties, what would I do at that point? I wouldn't be here, right? Like, there's something comforting about that, or at least comforting about, like, if I had nobody, I could rot at the bottom of the well and nobody would come save me. And it's like, I would be able to like be down there. And, some suicidal ideation shit, right? It's like, okay. I had a friend throughout high school and a little bit of college where he told me one time, he said, my biggest dream in life is to be forgotten. It's for none of my friends to know where I'm at, for nobody to be able to contact me. And yeah, I haven't spoken to that guy in like 4 or 5 years because he got what he wanted. He did that. And I think about that a lot. I'm like, how much freedom is that, right? Like, yeah, like, and anyway, so well, I don't know, we just kept talking, and she was really not, my therapist wasn't really saying much because she was just letting me get it out because I was just saying a bunch of, and then finally she was just like, yeah, I missed you, and I was like, I don't know if I could say the same, because usually when I'm here, it means things aren't going well. But she just kept asking me, like, what do you want? What do you want? And I was like, I don't know. I had no clue what I wanted. I don't know. I was like, because I kept telling her, I was like, I don't want to be here. And she's like, so why are you here then? I was like, because it makes my family feel better. It makes people in my life feel better knowing that I'm here. I was like, in truth, you can't help me. I was like, yes, we did good work, and I'm not saying nothing progressed, but you can't help me because, like, I don't know. At times, I've been in therapy for 10 years, and that feeling always comes back, that all too familiar feeling, where it's like everything drops, and you want nothing more than to not be here. And yeah, and I just was like, yeah, I mean, God put people in my life so that wouldn't happen. And so she kept saying, so why don't you just do it? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you can just go away, just go fuck off. Like, go out into the, right off into the sunset. Like, go be gone. No one would know. She's like, yeah, but I was like, logically, I can't do that. She's like, what do you mean logically? I was like, I guess literally, yes, I could go, like, leave, and then people would worry about me. And then, like, she's like, so you have values? I was like, yes, she's like, so what do you actually want? I was like, so she kept repeating what I was saying to her to prove that it wasn't, true. And I think what she was getting at, which I realized after the therapy session when I was reflecting, was that what I really want is for anything out of my mouth to hold meaning. For, like, everything I say is deadpan. Everything I say, like, I don't feel it. I could pretend like I feel it, and like these videos I'm feeling some sort of spiritual aspirations or spiritual connections, like. But in truth, like, a lot of what I say, especially the depressing shit, it's not real. Like, it's not, you could hear my voice. Like, I have no conviction when I say that stuff. It's like, I'm just trying to say stuff so some people feel bad for me. And that's the real truth. Because at some point during the therapy session, she said, I'm sad for you. I was like, what? And I smiled when she said that. I was like, really? That's what I want. That's all I want. And Julianne during dinner last night was like, yeah, man, you could say all this depressing shit, but at the end of the day, all that depressing shit is just deflection, and the existentialism is just like, it's just you spitting out bullshit so that nobody can actually see the much more simpler truth. And I was like, so what is that? She's like, I don't know, you don't let me in. And I was like, I don't even let myself in. Yeah, for this, for the past, I've been gone because I've been battling with this where it's almost like my mind is trying to, like, there's a version of me that's like trying to convince myself of like, that I'm like extremely depressed. And the other half is like, bro, you're being so cringe, right? But that part of me that feels that pain, it's real. The pain is real. It's just that the reason for the pain is wrong, or the extrapolation of the pain into saying like I'm doomed forever is wrong. Like, that's all the exact same thing that before I left therapy, my therapist always talks to me about is like, I always say these grand statements about myself, being like, I'm a freak of nature, I'm a beast, I'm a god, like, and she would always like maybe re-say those things, but how I actually felt about it. Like, oh, if I did good, if I made it, let's say I made a $4,000 trade on this Monday. And I was like, I'm such a freak. And then that caused me to make bad trades and be an idiot. And I think what she was trying to say is like, instead of being like a freak, be like, oh my God, Nick, like, good job. Like, to myself, just be like, good job. Like, that was a good trade. That's it. No more, no less. And so I think the same things happen on the other side of the coin, where instead of being like, man, I'm feeling really sad right now because, Julianne's in school and I'm alone a lot of the time. And like, it's just me with myself. And I've kind of like, I don't have my therapist anymore because I cut her off. And I'm just kind of sad because I'm just like being alone. Like, if I said that to myself, that is so much more manageable than saying, this feeling is all I will ever feel, and no matter what I try, and no matter if I get 0.25% better each time I get back up, that's not enough. And so because of that, I'm forever doomed. Like, how much easier is it me to say the real truth? The real truth is that I feel pretty lonely, and because Julianne's gone, and I don't know how to deal with that. And also withdrawals, like that. That's really, it's really that simple. And so yeah, I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I've been just dealing like at every point of the way. The only thing in my way is me. But I kept telling her, I was like, dude, but it's like no matter how much trips I take or therapy or no matter what I do in my life, there will always become a point where I get back to this feeling. And that's the scary part. And I told Julian, I was like, I'm afraid, like, when we have children, I can't afford to be doing shit like this. Like, when we have children, am I just gonna they're just gonna go see me be depressed? Like, I don't want to be that fucking, it's gonna be bad to say, but like, I don't want to be that dad that like, I don't want to be that dad where where you see those TikToks where it shows like, oh, nobody ever even knew. He smiled before it. You know, it's a video of like the dad laughing, and then like that night he goes and ends his life. Like, I don't want to be like that, right? And I think that's really the truth. Is like, maybe the truth is like, the reason I don't post those videos of me being really depressed is because I know it's like, it's not what I'm feeling. I mean, it is what I'm feeling, but I'm not articulating it correctly. I'm being all doomsday about it. And because of that, if I spread videos of me saying a lot of the shit that I was saying in videos that I have deleted, then I feel like I'm spreading a message. And also like, obviously there's gonna be people that relate, but at the same time, there's no hope in that. And I guess, like, I don't want, for people to relate, but we're relating on being, you know what I'm saying? And I seen this TikTok too of something similar of, some suicidal ideation. And all the comments were like in agreeing. And I was like, fuck, man, I don't want my shit to, like, I'm trying to be the man of the people. I'm trying to be like the person that gives hope. But at the same time, like, then I'm not being real, because it's like, I'm not showing that I'm struggling as well. And so, yeah, this is me struggling. Well, actually, me not being here for like a week or however long I didn't post, it was me struggling. Come on. So I don't know. It's just like, I think what I really love is when people feel bad for me, because it's like, well, I told my therapist this. I said my favorite thing is that I have this addiction that no matter, at any point, no matter how well I'm doing, I have this safety net. Because it's like, no matter how well I'm doing, no matter how successful I'm getting, no matter how great things in my life are, in a moment's notice, I can start engaging with my addiction again and fall right back to the bottom of the well and be in that warm blanket. And that's honestly the truth. It's the greatest safety net of all time. It's like, I can fall back and absolve myself, or fall back and forget that I'm, whatever it is, and just rot. And also, I was like, what I really love is people feel bad for me. I think as a kid, I was very lonely. And so I learned that all attention is good attention, right? And so I would find ways to see if people would care about me. I remember I ran away at SeaWorld and then, watched my family scurrily run around and trying to find me. And it brought me such joy that they would find me. And I would go disappear in high school parties all the time and just be sad and lonely and hoping that somebody would find me. Now, obviously, there's something to say of the underlying feeling. They're like, man, I'm feeling so bad about myself that I'm like putting myself in these situations to see and to test people. Like, there's something to say about that in itself, right? But I think I've continuously carried that forward, and that is why that habit over, where it's gotten a lot worse. Where instead of me just running away because I'm like, let me go see people, it's like, I'm extremely fucked up right now, and I'm gonna start saying really fucked up stuff and depressing stuff, hoping that someone cares. You know what the most interesting thing is, and this is why I'm marrying her, is Julianne will never give me the satisfaction of feeling bad for me. She knows. She's like, what you want me to do right now is feel bad for you, but I'm never gonna give you that. I'm not gonna enable you. She's like, she sees through me, bro. Find y'all a significant other that sees right through you. It's just like Grace and Tommy Shelby. Grace saw right through that bullshit every single time. And yeah, so it's like I want people to feel bad for me and care about me, but not actually care about me. I just want to know that they give a fuck. So when my therapist said she was sad, it made me happy. When people reach out to me and they're like, hey, are you doing good? I haven't heard from you. Like, what's going on? I'm not going to respond to them, because I know I don't want people caring about me. Like, I don't want to engage with them. But it's nice to know that someone reached out and tried to talk to me. It's like, it's this fucked up thing. And so I think that's why that when I was talking about the homelessness thing, it's like, I talk about that, I yearn for that, because it's like, I'm going to be at the bottom of the well and no one's going to reach out to me, because I'll have everyone a stranger. There's no one going to try to help me. No one's going to reach out. And all I have is God at that point, maybe. And I think that would feel the best, because it would actually feel terrible. It's like that episode of Rick and Morty where Rick and Beth go down into hell, and it's like they love pain. Pain is actually pleasure for them. It's like that. It's like if I had no ties and nobody gave a fuck about me and I was just crying myself to sleep every night and I felt terrible, I think it would actually make me feel good. Because I would feel so bad that I would, like, all I could do at that moment is pity myself. Like, I'm just a little piece of shit. Look at poor, woe is me. That's terrible the way to think, but I mean, part of me yearns for that. A part of me yearns for a lot of bad things. And you know, it was interesting, even during therapy, my therapist wasn't like, I feel like I'm talking, she at first was like, I feel like I'm talking to split versions of you. But then she was like, actually, no, there's a million different versions of you. And it was like that movie Split. It literally was like that movie Split, if you guys ever seen it, where, I forgot the main character's name, but the one that has the disorder reaches out to the therapist. One of the versions of him reaches out to the therapist and says, you know, we need help. This thing is being created. But then when they get to therapy, Dennis takes over and is very calm. It's like, oh, there's nothing wrong. That's how I almost felt when I was going to therapy, where it was like, except for everybody was trying to spotlight. And so she had nothing to say because she's like, you're being so contradictory. You know, it's this. And I think the last thing is my therapist says something similar. My therapist says something similar to the church people were, you know, when I went to that church, they were like, you know, God knows your heart because you came here. There's a part of you that wants to be better, and you came here. And she was like, yeah. I was like, she's like, you keep telling me you don't want to be here at all, yet you're here. But then you say it's about your family and all this stuff. But that's not, if it was, you wouldn't, like, she's like, obviously there's a part of you that wants to be here and wants to be better. And she's like, why is that? And I was like, because I have an insane potential to be a freak of nature. And she's like, okay, well, let's word that better, you know? And I think there is a part of me that wants to be better. And there's a part of me that wants exactly what Julianne wants for me. And the man she wants me to be is exactly who I want to be. But it's tough, man, because I keep getting my own way. And I keep self-sabotaging. And my brain doesn't know how to handle things going well for prolonged periods of time. It always has to, like, I'd rather just fucking end my shit before it ends naturally, or however it's gonna end, right? Not like that. I mean, like, end, like, sabotage myself before it unconsciously, like, something else happens, like, that is not in my control. And so, truth in the matter of this whole life, this whole thing is a bid for control. And God keeps trying to show me that weakness. That as the longer I try to hold on to control, the less control I will have over my life. You know? You don't realize that sin is slavery until you try to stop. Anyways, y'all, sorry it's been so long, and hopefully any of that was coherent. Essentially, things are going all right. I'm back in therapy. I'll be back. I'm going back on Monday. So I'll be all right again. I don't know. My brain's a very interesting thing, and I think, yeah, when my parents told me that this shit is a choice, my brain was just like, okay, you want to see? Which I guess is a choice in of itself, right? Which is interesting, kind of ironic. But anyways, guys, girls, gays, queers, they, them, these are everyone, anyone. Have a blessed rest of your day. I'll see you guys whenever. Come here, Baba. Come here. Oh, look at her. Look at her.